Okay, now we're off and running. Gratcast 151 underway.
Finally. That was weird.
We had a little stutter start there.
It started on time and then OBS decided to be a shitty.
Well, the mics didn't recognize, so we had to reopen OBS and.
So sorry if anyone was watching us on YouTube and they were
one
way and now they're finding us another.
We definitely burned our scheduled YouTube stream, but we're here. We're live now. On with the show.
Yay! On with the show.
All right.
All right.
I got a pot collar here. We got to adjust real quick. All right. So last week showed some of the footage and all of that from the homecoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's officially the Bills bye week. They're 4-1. Go Bills.
I thought you said last week we weren't going to talk about sports anymore.
Well,
I thought that was a promise.
Didn't say we're not going to talk about sports anymore, but this isn't going to be sports oriented. I'm letting people know what's up with the footage from the shows that Gratwick produced.
Okay. Our chat's not catching up, unfortunately.
Well, we'll just leave it up for a few minutes because I think they gotta pop in on the new chat and that. And if Wyatt, send us a comment in the chat there real quick, and let's see if this free stream's on its game tonight and it's going to appear on screen. I've got a backup over here so I can see either way if the chat comes in. What I was saying though is for the past couple days, actually since last week. Oh, there you go. See, nobody cares about hearing about technical issues. You got it, Space Jew. Moving on from that. So. Over the past week, I've been editing all of this footage, getting out the interviews, getting all of this stuff ready. Oh, Ken Newton in the house. Speaking of things we're working on, thank you for the test, Wyatt. I'll do the footage first, and I'm going to talk about something cool that Ken Newton's doing for us. Mm-hmm. So I've been editing all the footage together, getting it all short down to the meat and potatoes so people don't have to go through all the dead space in the live stream. And now that the Bills are on their bye week, we're going to start rolling out all of this footage on the Gratwick Productions channels and Twitter and all of that over the next week, tagging all the super fans and stuff in it because we need, as we're going to talk about in our main subject, we need to start building our awareness here going forward for the big announcement coming up at the end of this month. So yes, over the bye week, we're going to be dropping all that content for the next couple, about a week and a half. There's a lot of videos and interviews in there to toss out. So, kind
of like having a nagging Space Jew on your chat.
Shots fired. So, Ken Newton is a artist in Buffalo that's been working on a top secret project for Dan and I. Dan being Code Sox and I being Kris with Gratwick Productions. Ken is creating a sweet Buffalo-oriented shirt that I don't want to give too many details on because it's going to be revealed in the next 2 weeks or so here. But it's going to be a very special shirt that's going to be available through a limited time only as part of the launch of our big announcement that's coming up.
Where will it be available?
Through the big announcement that's coming up. So we can't give those details out right now.
They can't even go look for it? Okay.
Well, when we give the big announcement, they'll know where to find it. That's the whole point of teasing it here, dear. So, with that, the shirt is eventually going to be animated, and it's going to have augmented reality put into it as well. So, it's going to be a really, really sweet interactive shirt that comes along there. Now, so moving on from all of that stuff, Ken, thanks for checking into the show. Thank you for everything you're doing to help us out with the shirt. And I think you're going to really love what it's going to be used for because it's definitely going to be a very pro-Buffalo and helping fellow artists and creators like you and I, Ken. So, moving on to what happened this week. Dear, when you fly on a plane, how do you feel about talking to strangers, like the person next to you?
Well, you always have me sit in the middle, and I always have to talk to that person. I've never once had it where there wasn't someone talking to me.
Yes, Space Jew, I am bald. 12 years in Hollywood took all my hair. If you go back when I first arrived here, I was not bald.
No, he wasn't originally.
No, but this is why I got this here. Just to let people know I can still grow a beard, and it's got a sweet little yellow streak right there.
For some reason, it's kind of red, even though your hair is blonde. It's very weird.
My hair is not
secret ginger.
It is not red. It is not
Your
red.
beard is red.
That's
dude.
not
That's
red. That's a deep blonde.
Okay. It's the blush underneath the hair.
Strangers on airplanes. Do you like talking to them? Typically?
Yeah, they buy me free drinks.
Well, you're weird like that.
I've gotten free drinks every time.
All right.
Like, every time.
Most people absolutely despise talking to strangers on the plane, let alone strangers that aren't even in the seat next to you on the plane.
Well, that's weird to talk to someone who's not in the seat next to you.
Well, Virgin Atlantic thinks that we all need to be connected at all freaking times because they've apparently have an in-flight chat system where you can send blind chat messages to somebody in a different seat on the airplane and it'll show up on their little TV screen on the seat. Yeah.
You mean like those bars? You remember the bars that used to have phones at each of the tables where you could
Cider
call
season.
another table and talk to them as your way of kind of hooking up? Like they're doing that. If you saw someone loading on the plane who you think you'd want to talk to, you can talk to 7B.
Yo, Doug Lou, thanks for checking in.
Is that what you mean? Or do
Yeah,
you mean by like any flight by Virgin? Like if you're going from
No,
LA
in
and
flight.
someone else is going to London, you can talk to them.
No. So in flight, if you're sitting in 10A and somebody over there in 20B, you want to send them a message, boop, right up on screen, you can go ahead and send them a message.
Do they see your seat number?
What do you mean? You're getting lost in the weeds here on me.
Not really.
Yeah, you're totally getting lost in the weeds here on me.
Okay.
Anyway, the point I'm bringing this story up because apparently there was a rather attractive woman that was flying on Virgin Atlantic that apparently, ironically, is a sexual harassment lawyer. And she started.
Why is that ironic that she's pretty and a sexual harassment lawyer?
That's not the irony part. If you let me tell the story, you'll know the ironic part. I want to talk to the upper crust lady in first class.
Exactly.
This is exactly what happened, Doc. So apparently, this chick started getting bombarded with sexual innuendos and anonymous messages from different seatmates throughout the plane that all started sending her messages and trying to hit on her while she was on her flight. And you can't do anything about it because it's on screen there.
There's no disabled chat?
Apparently there's no disabled chat, there's no report chat, there's no report harassment or anything like that. And
okay, so she's getting these messages.
The cider actually does kind of match my hair color, Space Jew.
She's getting these messages, but can she see who they're from?
No. So
she can't even be like, stewardess, tell 7A to knock it the fuck off before I go throw my dick in his face?
One of the names was Dirty Mike, the other one was Big Dick Swinger, and I can't remember what the other one.
Big dick, we know you don't have one.
But yeah, so
it's very obvious.
The whole flight, she's getting bombarded with all these
perverted assholes,
perverted chat messages in her seat. But it just leads me to the question: why do I want random assholes sending me messages in my chat seat? I don't want to even talk to the freaking clown next to me, let alone somebody from 7 seats over. Hey, how's it going? The only people that are going to use that are creepy people. It's not like I'm going to meet the fucking love of my life because 7B sent me a message over in 20C. It's an absolute useless feature that allows for nothing other than freaking blind harassment.
Like, the only thing I can think is...
What did they think would happen when they invented that? You're exactly right, Wyatt.
If someone is playing their phone and not having their headphones in, and you know what seat they're in, put your fucking earbuds in. If someone takes their socks and shoes off and puts it on the back of any...
that'd
be
be a good
be able to
anonymous
send a message.
message.
Be like, you are disgusting. Cover up your gorilla toes.
My flight home from Buffalo a couple weeks ago, the dude next to me for the 7-hour flight from freaking Boston, sitting there with his shoes off. Freaking, I would have definitely sent that dude a message. He had his socks on, but that's still not good enough.
That's a borderline. It kind of depends on how smelly your feet are.
No.
But everyone has to take your shoes off anyway when you go through security.
No, it's not a borderline. Because if the person with clean feet does it, then the person with scuzzy feet and holy socks is gonna do it. It's absolutely no. You don't take your fucking shoes off on the flight. Are we madmen? This is insane. So yeah, this entire chat system.
So she complained.
Yeah, oh yeah, wait. Of
And
course,
did they
well,
make
she
an
complained on
announcement
Twitter.
over the phone?
Apparently,
Like
she
over
said
the system?
the flight attendants handled it right away. I didn't get into the nuts and bolts here of the
Oh,
article.
the nuts and bolts are what I need to know.
I just skimmed it through. She went on Twitter, bitched and moaned like everybody does on Twitter, and told the flight attendants.
Screenshot.
I don't like. Can you imagine the flight attendants making that announcement? To the gentlemen on the plane that are harassing the lady in 55C, I know she's very attractive, but she doesn't want to. She doesn't watch your messages anymore.
She's not interested, motherfuckers.
Yeah, Space Jew. The creeps were definitely rising up at 35,000 feet on that flight.
Jesus.
Who's taking Virgin Atlantic anyway? What do they got? Like 10 flights? Like, come on.
Are you kidding me? Virgin is an awesome airline.
It may be an awesome.
It has some sweet perks.
Yeah, but they've only got like 10 options for flights.
Yeah, because they're that cool.
No, unless you're going to space, which some people don't
Or
believe
you're
is
going
real.
across the
There's
ocean.
no point in taking Virgin Atlantic.
Do you know that if you go in first class, they have their own bar? Like an actual walking area, chill out. Like, Virgin is an amazing airline.
Did you know
if you're
Richard
going in
Branson
there.
is another one of these creepy scumbags with their own personal private island that
Yeah.
a lot of shady things happen on?
Because he owns Virgin. All of Virgin. Records, phones, airlines. He owns an island. We know someone who's actually been to his island. They were around down there and no one was on the island and they just frickin' stopped the boat and stayed for a weekend.
That was Pedophile Island. That was Jeffrey Epstein's.
No.
No. The only person I've heard of, they went around there. Oh, that was Dan Gambino's partner, who
No.
lives down in the Virgin Islands.
That is not who I'm talking about. Maybe it's someone I only know.
But it probably is, because I didn't hear
I know
that story.
someone who stayed at the island illegally, without permission, because no one was there. And
Squatter.
it was amazing, they said. Fan-frickin-tastic. And a great island to buy.
Until you
I
get
like the
shot
idea
by
of
the
having your own
caretaker.
island. I like that. My own space, my rules.
All right, moving on.
Move it.
People are freaking out about the Joker to the tune of $93 million in the opening weekend.
I thought it
Shocker.
was $13 million.
No,
was that just the opening night?
Nah.
Isn't that
that
low,
was like-
though, for what they
No,
consider a
It was like-
blockbuster?
it wasn't.
30?
This movie was never considered a blockbuster.
Really? It's
Yes.
been having a lead up for how many years? It's not a blockbuster?
They've said it at every single turn. It's a niche character film about specifically mental illness, and it's very, very dark. It's not for children. It's not for any of that stuff. It was never supposed to.
Technically, the reboot of Batman is too dark for kids. All of it. Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins.
That stuff's
the
child's
most
play.
recent one. Like, none of them are really for kids. They're for teenagers and above. If a kid is watching that, he's getting nightmares and has a fucked up reasoning in his head
And
of how the world works from that point on.
Doug Liu's hitting the topic that I wanted to get to.
Oh, you saw the Joker.
Everyone that I've seen that has seen it absolutely loves it. A few people have said they'd never watch it again, but it was a great film. They loved it, and apparently it works as an origin story for Primer. I think was the name of the movie that it works as an origin story for as well. But it's super dark. Greg took his son to go see it. I don't know how good of an idea that was, but they were
He
warning.
was like 15. Like, I don't know if you keep thinking of him as a little kid, but
He's kind
we
of a
just
little
saw
kid.
him a couple months ago. He's
Yeah.
in high school. Like, yeah, he
Oh,
should be
Urbane
going.
Soul checking in. Got the whole gang here tonight. David, as soon as he checks his notifications, will probably be in at some point in time. Usually,
Or he checked the stream that no longer
yeah,
exists.
David's sitting over there by himself on the other stream.
Which is why we explained the technical difficulties. That was the apology to everyone, because we know we lost a bunch of people on that crappy one.
But yeah, so we talked about this last week. I think all the outrage over, oh, it's so dangerous, they can't make this movie. Oh, look. Kooky Carl's Clown Shoe Emporium. That's a long ass name. I didn't know YouTube gave it that many characters.
Popular though right about now for Halloween costumes.
I saw Joker and I liked it. I think Joaquin Phoenix was amazing in that film. That's probably the one.
Was he as good as Heath Ledger? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the comparable is which Joker's better. But I think from an acting standpoint, with the subject matter and the material, like without even seeing it, I'd have to give the tip of the hat towards Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, because the subject material is so much heavier and darker. It's not just being a wild, crazy person. There's a lot of nuances in the way this character is in that film. Space Joe, I'm still
seen
drinking
it,
that
you're
cider,
already-
man. I got the Gus's fried chicken cup full of the cider.
is
Oh. Can I turn it enough without... Oh. There it is. Whew. Don't want to spill on the table. Doug Lou agrees. Joaquin Phoenix was Joker was better.
Well, he's seen it though. I mean, you
Well, there
can't
you go.
give credit to an actor
You got
if
a
you haven't
person?
even seen his acting in that role.
As a filmmaker myself, I can tell off the top which one is a much more complicated character to play. Absolutely. Oh yeah, De
Niro's in it?
De Niro's jumped the shark in the past. Apparently, these two had quite the beef during the filming of the movie. They didn't want to talk to each other. De Niro went super old school. I want to do a table read. And Joaquin Phoenix is like, I'm not doing a fucking table read. You out of your mind, dude? So the director was caught between the old school star, the new school star, and had to try to balance all of that.
Table reads are standard.
Not for the new school people. The Joaquin
The
Phoenix.
lazy people? The people who don't want to actually know what they have to react to and how it's going to be said?
You're bringing quite the argumentative nature to today's episode.
I am.
No. The Joaquin Phoenix wanted nothing to do with it, and apparently the people think he's Oscar worthy of the performance. So each actor, you know this, has their own method and their own way to do it. The movie is centered around Joaquin Phoenix, therefore he's the star of the movie. Therefore, if the star of the movie doesn't want to do a table read, we're not doing a table read, folks. Go do one yourselves. But
I agree, Space Jew. Heath did it the best. He didn't have to explain why he acted the way he did. You could tell there was already a thought process, and the fact that it bothered him when he was done meant he was actually really invested in the role, as opposed to Joaquin, who, fuck everyone else. I'm not going to work with you. I'm going to have it go by my rules, you fucking little princess.
I think from a DC comic book standpoint, Ledger's Joker was the most on the head of what the Joker character everyone kind of grew up imagining. But as far as like a dark interpretation of it, I'm already leaning towards this one just from everything I've read about it. Yeah, see? Ledger was perfect for Crime King Joker. Joaquin perfected for beginning Joker. That's a great way to explain it, Urbane Soul. You got better words than I did on that one. Yeah, but it's not about the actor. They're acting. Space Jew, if it helps, De Niro's role is actually really small in the movie. He's like a talk show host, and I don't know if he's talking about the crazy things that the Joker's doing, or if he actually interviews him. But yeah, he doesn't have a meaty role in the actual film. All right, let's move on to some subject matter here now.
Oh, we have subject matter.
Well, we've got subject matter.
Okay.
So last week we talked about Start Engine, and we talked about
the regulations. Jeff.
Dave stays in the house. He'd actually be a pretty sweet. He'd actually be a pretty sweet Riddler. But I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan, but like Jim Carrey's Riddler in Batman Forever, which everybody shits on that movie, was absolutely fantastic. Too many questions. Too many questions.
I think they made him too cartoony.
Oh, dude, that's what the Riddler's supposed to be, is cartoony. Was that over the top? I never can tell. Oh, so good, especially the end when he's lost his mind. Oh, yeah.
It might have just been the storyline of the TVs that suck the brain. Like that was.
I would go as far as saying of all the superhero comic book movies, Jim Carrey's Riddler Joker is Riddler character is probably my second favorite, right behind Ledger's Joker.
I like Penguin.
No, oh dude, that Batman Returns was horrible for that reason.
Christopher Walken, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Danny DeVito. And it had the original Batman.
Cookie Carl's Clown Emporium blew by real quick there, but he said, I think Ledger was the better Joker. He had more of a thought process. His Joker was also far closer to the actual character. See, with the actual character part, I do agree in that sense. And he pretty much died for that role because he got lost in the character and never really came back. Carrey never breaks character. I think he's been stuck in his character for a long time. We gotta hit the AC there on us, dear.
Sorry, everybody. Someone at the house decided that they were a little...
Doug Lou, that was a well-casted movie, Batman Forever. Absolutely. That one was one of my favorite Batmans. I love the logo, everything about that movie, and so many people shit on it because there's too many neon lights in it. That wasn't... Was Was Batman Forever the one with with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it too as Mr. Freeze?
I thought that was the third one.
Or
Maybe
I
I'm
think that
wrong.
was Batman and Robin. Yeah. Yeah, but that one was that one's where it jumped the shark and got corny as shit for me. They start putting nipples on the bat suits. They had ground effects
that
on the
had
Batmobile. Clooney was
Clooney
was
and Matt
freaking
O'Donnell.
Batman. Yeah,
And there was a Batgirl.
yeah. That was
The
where
cousin.
DC jumped the shark for me. Space Juice still upset about De Niro. Now say Christopher Walken the way Christopher Walken would say Christopher Walken. David, I'm not you, man. I can't nail the impressions. I've got no Christopher Walken in me whatsoever.
Okay, so
All right, we could talk Batman forever here, folks, but we're gonna move on to the subject matter. Last week we called out Start Engine because we've been stuck on this friggin' hamster wheel for almost over a year now on this entire process. And what do you know, dear? 2 days later, I wake up from an email from Start Engine. Oh, everything's all clear. You guys are good to go now. A little social pressure never hurts anybody.
little bit of accountability. Their lack of procedure and protocol, hopefully they'll take this as a lesson and start doing it the way you're legally supposed to be doing it when dealing with the SEC.
Yes.
All right, so
So-
I'm obviously in a bitchy mood. But
Yeah,
whatever.
you're
Yeah, I am.
you're looking to fight on everything here tonight.
Oh, big time.
So all of our clearance is done with the SEC paperwork. We've passed the Start Engine approval process. We've got a big call tomorrow with the team to set our launch date for all of this stuff.
Big call.
Hint, hint. This this coincides with Ken Newton's artwork that he's been putting together for us. That's all going to play a part in the big launch coming up.
Very exciting.
But this, and we're gonna transition out of the Gratwick section real quick and go into the main topic here. Not right away, so don't hit the button.
I like
But the
buttons.
but the transition or the segue here is we need to increase our social presence. We need to get some more followers. We need to get people that want to really take down Hollywood from the outside in. And bring a reckoning. Ken Newton loves him some Ken Newton.
Me too.
Well, as damn good of a job as you did, Ken, you've got all the right in the world to be as
It ain't Brad.
full of bravado as you like. But yes, so the social presence needs to follow. If you guys are watching this, if you haven't subscribed, please do. If you haven't freaking followed us on Twitter, this stuff's going by all over here. Please go ahead and give us a little subscribe on there. And more importantly, share it and tell somebody else to subscribe because now you can transition me to the next section. The meat and potatoes of our show tonight is organic growth. Now,
Organic.
yeah, it's just background
Well,
there.
I like it. It's cool.
So we've been consulting with some different social media people, some different professionals on how we market this and get the awareness out for the campaign and all of the things that need to be done. Mm-hmm. Because the mainstream media absolutely wants no part of what we're doing and what we're selling. We are literally packaging and putting together a model that is the antithesis of what Hollywood exists to do, and that is maintain power through controlling the points of access. Everything we're looking to do is to completely blow open the points of access and give everybody ownership in the points of access and bring your own content to use through those points of access. Now, to a person, they all keep telling us the same thing. You need more subscribers, you need more followers, you need more all of these things. And yes, they're 100% right in that. But as you'll notice from Gratcast, our viewer numbers aren't huge. They're not big. The subscriber numbers aren't big because there's not an army of people here on this stuff. There's no predetermined awareness from this. We don't have anything coming into it. It's just this. So when we do the show, when we produce the show, when we're building this company, we don't have all week to then go back and whore out our last episode and, hey, everybody, well, here's clips from it, highlights, and all this other shit. So from day one on Gratcast, I've refused to push, promote, and market the damn show. If people stumble across it, if they find it and they like it, great. That's organic growth. I want people to come here and watch the show because they actually want to watch the show, not because I spam the fuck out of them and, oh, check out what this is. He's begging for vanity subscribers and all that happy horse shit. That's never been what we wanted to do here. So most of these episodes, most of the subject matter has all been based around talking to the future. Talking to people that will find this later on and stumble down the rabbit hole and see all the past episodes. Like we've called Hollywood out for 150 freaking episodes here, and I've talked about the changes in the technology. We were calling Harvey Weinstein out in 2011 when everybody was like, "Oh, that's so mean. You can't say that type of stuff. Nobody's gonna want to work with you." All this happy horse shit.
He controls everything out here. If you step on his toes, don't be surprised if you're not going to be accepted anywhere else. Blacklist.
All these people that acted surprised. Harvey was doing those things. All those people. It was insider knowledge all through that. Literally,
it was public insider knowledge.
Literally,
that's the sad thing.
When a girl got off the bus in Hollywood, the first thing they told her is either suck Harvey's dick or don't be alone in a room with Harvey. That's how you make it. That's how you make it or protect yourself in Hollywood. Everybody knew, and they all played stupid. But the worst part of what they all did is they all helped enable it by talking shit to people like me. You can't say that kind of stuff. You're not going to work in this town. Well, why is that? Because people like you are choosing the power over the people willing to speak out and confront that power. Because you want your cushy little job and you don't care what's happening to enable your paycheck to keep coming every single day.
Or what you're doing to make sure that this keeps happening over and over.
This is where
agents who have no problem putting their actresses in that position because it makes them look better.
This is where the predators were protected and were able to function. Because if all the little leeches and hanger-ons weren't creating that type of climate and culture where you can't talk out about what's happening or you're not going to work in this town, then it wouldn't be the case. But because everyone else that allegedly wasn't doing anything created that peer pressure that you can't talk out about the person that was doing these things, they were free to do whatever they wanted, and the people that spoke out were the ones that got ostracized. I'm going to tell you all a story because we've got some good friends here tonight from David Stay's show, and I'm hoping in a couple weeks when we launch and I do a little segment on David Stay's show about the launch. We're going to talk about this with the entire audience, but you guys are going to hear it first. And Andrea can 100% vouch for this story. About 2 or 3 years ago, we had a Thanksgiving party. And around this time, for the months leading up to that Thanksgiving party, there was a junior agent from one of the top 3 agencies in the industry that was recruiting me and courting me and coming over all the time, giving whiteboard tutorials about how the industry works, all this, that, and the other thing. Have a stupid freaking vape thing and would be blowing freaking clouds of smoke all over the place. You know, smoking's one thing. But the vaping thing, the ones where it does the big, huge cloud of smoke, I don't want to see your breath in the air and literally see it going into my mouth. That's the worst thing when I can track your breath around the room. Anyway, so this dude was buying us weed, buying us video games, buying us all sorts of stupid shit we didn't need, didn't want. All we wanted to do was make good movies, tell great stories, and get to work. And this dude kept trying to groom me, literally, try to groom me and get me to need and believe he was the key to my future, so much so that when he said what he said at our Thanksgiving party, that I would change my entire moral code. Everything I stood for would just turn around, because when the devil offers you the deal, where's your moral code then? It's real easy to say transparency, accountability, and all speak out against evil shit that's happening. And if anyone offered me $1 million for my career, I would turn that down if it was from bad people. It's all easy to say those things when nobody's offering you shit. You can shout from the rooftops how much you stand by your moral code when nobody's challenging it. When nobody's trying to offer you your dream in exchange for flushing your moral code down the toilet. And that's literally what this dude did. He comes over drunk, claiming to be from one of the Hollywood the holiday parties for the agency, and he tells me straight up, I can get everything you ever want to make funded and financed, but you're not willing to do what it takes. And I said, you're probably right, but what exactly is it that you're referring to? And he says, you have to be okay with doing what needs to be done for the investor's sake when your projects are getting made and shot. And okay, elaborate. He's like, if the investor puts up all the movie for your movie, all the money for your movie, and they decide 3 days into production that they want to sleep with your lead actor, it's our job to make sure that happens. He's like, you can either help me make that happen, or you can look the other way and I'll take care of making that happen, but that's what has to happen.
How would he go about doing it, Kris? What was his exact explanation that made everyone leave the room?
This is the best part.
He left the room and he kept talking.
This dude had his talk off down pat like he had already done it 1,000 times. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. There's no way that's going to happen. He's like, well, then you're going to lose all the money for your production.
Explain how he thought he would.
I am explaining, dear. You got to stop trying to be so argumentative. He said, then you're going to lose all the money for your production. I'm like, well, if we already have the money and we're already on set shooting the movie, they can't take their money back. And he goes, oh, yeah, they can. They can hold it up. They can freeze it up because you get your money on a draw. He's like, so what would happen is they'd sue the movie. They'd come up with they've got all the money in the world because, again, we're talking about the top 1% that invests in the A-lister movies and all of these things. And he says they'll wrap it up in lawsuits and they'll make sure the movie never airs, that it's never seen from again, and you'll never finish or complete that movie. And they'll make up any excuse in the book to do it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. That's absolutely bullshit. And like, who would do something like that, and why would they do something like that when they're losing their investment?
When the set would be live streamed. It was already planned to have live stream all over the set too. So someone would be seen being a creepy motherfucker.
They would have never been live streamed if we're talking about doing A-lister movies.
You wouldn't get an A-lister to do what he wants them to do. Anyway.
So again, you got to stop interjecting here unless you're adding to the story, and instead of just hitting the brakes on it.
This is an angry story.
So now the train of thought completely disrupted and screwed up here.
They'll take their money back. They'll sue you. They'll hold it up.
So he explains to me these people don't invest in Hollywood A-lister movies and big budget movies to make money. They're already rich. We're talking about Saudi Arabia. We're talking about Middle Eastern investors. These people make money from everywhere. They're not investing in Hollywood movies because they want to make big profit margins. They're investing in Hollywood movies because they want access to the talent. That at that level, most of the actors and most of the talent are basically glorified prostitutes, and the movies are commercials for them. This is what he goes ahead and explains to me. He's like, so when you refuse to play ball, you're tying one hand behind my back, and the people I answer to at the big agencies and all of that aren't going to allow me to work with you. They're not going to let it happen because you're just going to rock the boat. You're going to disrupt the way. I'm like, you're goddamn right I'm going to. I'm like, there's no way somebody's going to do that shit on my set. You pull that shit on my set, and I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Nobody's going to prey on my talent. I'm not throwing them under the bus for the sake of my career. And he's like, I know. He's like, I respect it, but we can't work together. It's never going to work between you and I for this very reason. And I talked to him again. I'm like, listen, dude, if the actress wants to go hang out with a big multimillionaire, rich person, and do whatever the hell they want to do behind closed doors, that's up to them. But I'm not going to manipulate and coerce somebody into doing something they don't want to do. And he's like, well, that's where my job comes in. And this is where he gives the example. I sit down with the actress a couple days on the set and in her trailer, and I explain to her, are you having a good time? Are you enjoying your opportunity and your chance to be in a leading role and all of these type of things? Great. Okay, good. Well, the investors loving your work so far and the dailies that they're seeing and all that, and they want to go out to dinner with you tonight. They want to hang out with you and spend some time with you one-on-one tonight. And if she doesn't want to do it, then I explain to her, do you want everybody here on this production to lose their jobs because you wouldn't hang out with a rich guy? You wouldn't go to dinner with a rich guy? Do you want to be the reason all these people lose their jobs because you wouldn't do something so simple like that? And he's like, every time they eventually fold and go for it. And Now for I don't know, Andrew would probably give you a better time estimate here, but for several hours, me and him argued back and forth. I thought I could save this dude's soul because he was in his early 20s. I'm like, listen, man, we've got the intellectual property. We've got the know-how. We've got the work ethic. You've got the connections and all of that. We don't need to play these games. We don't need to do. We're not making schlocky horror films here where it's all about TNA. He's like, you don't understand. That's how it works. You want to play at that level. That's the game you want to play. And I back and forth. I tried to save this dude's soul, and eventually, Thanksgiving went down in flames. He got kicked out. That was the last time I ever spoke to him again. And the irony is, everything happens for a reason. From all this time, because he went to Harvard and all of that. That part I was able to verify. So he used to come over and we had a whiteboard in our wall, and he'd give me the entire explanation of how the entertainment industry works from a business standpoint, and the money flows and the structure, and how corporations are established and created for investment vehicles and funding sources and all of these different things that ultimately is the nuts and bolts of what we've taken from them, added some emerging technologies, added some accountability, added some ethics into it, and created a culture committed to transparency. And this is the heart and soul of what our business model is that we're going to be introducing in a couple weeks here. So now that you've got all of this backstory, these people that we're talking about that are like, listen, your message is great, your commitment is great, your transparency and accountability, all these things are what people want right now from their entertainment, their content, and the reckoning for Hollywood. The problem is you don't have enough vanity subscribers. You don't have enough numbers for anyone to pay attention. So unless you buy followers so you have vanity numbers, nobody's going to pay attention to your message. And I'm like, that's not what a transparent company does. And they're like,
ingenuine.
Yeah. And they go, who do you follow on social media? Who do you like on social media? Who on Twitter do you check out and subscribe to that has large followings and all of that? And I gave them some names. I'm not going to throw these people under the bus and expose them or any of that type of stuff. But they went and pulled up this website called Twitter Audit. And there's several different kinds where you can find out people's fake followers. And every single one of them, 20 to 30% of their follower base is fake followers. I mean, people with 80,000, 200,000, didn't matter what the numbers were, at least 20% of their audience was fake followers. And they're like, that's what they started with. That's how they appeared like they were already popular and successful. Now, because somebody just looks at their page, sees a bunch of subscribers, and think, well, everyone else is subscribing, I've got to subscribe. And that's what they told me. You want to get the ball rolling on this stuff, you have to do that. And I don't know, Space Jew, I'm gonna call you out and ask you directly. Which is more important to you, Space Jew? The message or the vanity numbers of the platform? When you go and you look for somebody that you're going to follow and pay attention to on social media, do you care more about the fake follower number, the number of subscribers, or what the subject matter is, the entertaining nature of the show? Aaron Stepien checking in. Thanks for checking out the show, man. BitChute actually has... I'm not sure if it's live yet or not, but they do have videos and all of that on there already because several of our strategic partners and shows that we've got friendships with have already moved to BitChute. That's where everybody's kind of migrating to and heading to. But Space Jew, tell me, what's more important to you? The number of subscribers when you check out a new channel or a new account or creator on social media, or the message. And now I'm asking Space Drew directly because he was the first one that had a comment in there. But Aaron can chime in. David can chime in. Anyone that's watching the show and listening right now, tell me if that matters to you guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and think and make an assumption about most of you guys because you're a lot of you guys are following David. You guys are here checking out Gratcast, that you care more about what the message is, what the entertainment value is, than what a bunch of other random assholes you don't know and aren't talking to do. Now, I'll give you a good example where it is beneficial. David's show, State of Mind. He's got almost 4,000 subscribers now. And that show is significantly improved by the dynamic and the amount of people that are in the chat, hanging out and having a conversation going and engaging with each other. And a lot of people keep coming back because they're friends and like communicating with all the different people in the chat. And I am desperate. No, I'm not going to say desperately, but I would love to have a show like that. I would love to get to that point where we have that back and forth in chemistry. And to be honest with you guys, this is the most different variations and opinions and commentary we've gotten in our chat thing in a long time. So thank you guys for all jumping in and being a part of the show and giving us that opportunity to get a little traction under the wheels. But this is what we're facing every single day with trying to build a transparent audience and artist-owned studio system is the initial hurdle, the initial awareness of getting it out there, because the establishment and the mainstream media isn't going to self-promote something that exists to literally expose and take them down. They're also not going to allow you to advertise and share and promote it on those type of platforms. It needs to grow organically. And I told these people straight up, I can't build my entire brand and company around a transparent, accountable studio and know that I had to buy Twitter followers just for people to pay attention to us.
And they aren't even real.
Yeah.
Like, a majority of them are just bots. Someone has an awesome program, and that's what you're paying them
click,
for.
and a bunch of dummy accounts all follow you at once.
That doesn't help in any way. It doesn't interact. Yeah. It actually makes you look like a sad kid who's going around going, "Will you be my friend? I'll give you some candy."
And not just that, there's very smart, sophisticated people that watch a lot of these alternative shows and these shows that claim to want to wake people up, to share truths and stories. They're always looking for the shills. They're always looking for the people that are full of shit, that are grifters, that are trying to make shit up and just
so they can call them out on it.
But but not just that, because they're looking for the truth. They're looking for real deals. And when you present yourself as the real deal,
you better be it.
Yeah, you better be it, because these
people... You
people...
can't suddenly let the devil make you a deal and you go, whoa, one little thing will make a difference. It's a slippery slope, people.
Well, not just that. You got these tech-savvy people. Space Jew, he's a ball breaker. Let me finish my thought here. Mm-hmm. He's a ball breaker. And from what I've had, a couple exchanges and all that, he seems like a good dude that just, likes the ball break and whatever. Freaking, I'm same way when I'm not on the business side. But somebody like him, I guarantee, is tech savvy enough to know that they can go to a website like Twitter Audit and find out exactly how many fake followers you have. So if I'm sitting here today at 170 Twitter followers, and tomorrow I suddenly have, 5,000 Twitter followers, somebody like Space Jew is going to be smart enough to say that doesn't make sense. That is clearly not organic growth. They're going to go and put that up, and they're going to put that into the freaking Twitter Audit, and they're going to see straight up, this guy's a fucking asshole. He's lying through his teeth, man, and he's going to call you right out in your own chat. And Space Jew, if you did something like that and you did it to me, you'd be completely within your right to do it. Because if I lied to you guys and I went and bought a bunch of fucking followers, I would want to be called out. I'd call my goddamn self out. Because it's absolutely ridiculous. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry I'm ranting here and worked up about this, but it's been chomping my ass that people I legitimately respect and want advice from on how to organically grow this stuff insist that you must do that. And this is literally something we've struggled with for 10 years. Because I don't want to self-promote. I don't want to sit there and say, hey, we're the best thing ever. We're the best thing ever.
It's off-putting.
I want...
Seeing other people do it, people we know have done that, and it's...
Man,
it's gross.
If we could build Gratwick to legitimately be a turnkey studio that each artist could use for what they need it to be without anyone knowing who my name is other than through my own content that I create, that would be the greatest thing ever. I'm not building this to get rich. I'm not building it for vanity purposes. I'm not building it to be a studio mogul that can rape actresses in my office. I'm building it because as a storyteller that wants to tell stories, I need it to fucking exist because I'm not fucking dealing with those guys. So if I need it to exist, She needs it to exist as an actress that doesn't want to sleep her way to the top, and everyone else needs it to exist. It's somebody had to sacrifice their creative career to take a step back and build an infrastructure that everybody can use and everybody needs. And no one else was going to do it, so I stood up to the plate. But it's killing me that the success of what everyone needs to happen rides on my ability to whore myself out, to run around and every chance I can grab a mic and spout off and toot my horn and say how great I am.
Think of anyone in particular on that example?
and listen, if I've got to be scribbling stories on bathroom stalls and underneath a bridge because I went homeless because of my freaking principles, so fucking be it.
Cheating is not okay.
I can't
Are we too old to cheat? I mean, honestly, weren't you taught as a child cheating is wrong? And if you think it's okay, you got a little bit of moral compass issues.
Space Jew, I can't...
It's not pointing directly north anymore.
I can't build a machine to take down and expose Hollywood for all of their corruption, collusion, and insider wheeling and dealing by doing the same exact things they did. We're automatically compromised from the get-go. And if we're going to do that, we might as well have just played their game anyway then. And
not wasted all this time, money, energy,
people's effort. I've had several opportunities to have a very successful and lucrative career right now. People wanted me to go on and make other horror movies right after I made The Perfect House. But I didn't want to go right to another horror movie and just be horror guy forever. My artistic integrity was more important to prove that I could tell stories in all different genres. So if I go and play that game, then I would have done it 10 years ago before I went through hell and back again. What the two of us have gone through to be on the cusp of this moment, of this launch, is all for nothing if we go ahead and sacrifice our values now and go ahead and buy some Twitter followers. Fuck that. If I was gonna buy some Twitter followers, I would have freaking...
We would have done that years ago when that was the thing to do. Before
they had algorithms to determine who was buying Twitter followers. But if I was gonna buy Twitter followers and I had that little bit of a moral compass, there was way better opportunities that came along that I would have taken over buying Twitter followers, man. It just can't do it. I cannot do it. So all of this to say, I don't think anything goes organic anymore, and I want to be proven wrong. I don't think anything that went viral because somebody shared something that only has 10 followers and a few of those people shared something and shared and shared and shared. I think the only things that go viral are things that were either paid to go viral, somebody begged an influencer to promote it or put it out there, or it got picked up and put through. Yeah, Space Jew, I'm one of those guys that winning only matters if I won by playing by the rules. Because whether anyone else knows or not...
Don't be Cobra Kai. Don't be Cobra Kai.
Whether anyone else knows or not, I would know. I would know that I had to cheat to win, and that cheapens my victory. Because I don't think I need to cheat to prove I'm one of the best. I know how good my goddamn content is. I know how good my stories are. I know how good my scripts are. I know how good my ideas are. And I've got a lot of shitty ideas. Not the ones that I'm talking about, but I can be self-honest enough to know that some of them are garbage. So I know which ones are good and which ones aren't. And I want them to stand on their own 2 feet. I don't want to have to suck a dick to freaking get one of those things made. I don't want to have to sell my actors and actresses and hurt other people to get that opportunity. I want to tell good goddamn stories that people like because the stories are so fucking good. That's what matters to me. So I can rant on this subject till I'm blue in the face, Space Jew, but it's not in my DNA. I come from Buffalo, man. We are never ever going to do that shit for frontrunner status. It's just not who we are. We win on our terms. We win by sticking up for each other, picking up the little guys. And listen, we're in a society where the majority, the people with the power, all they do is stomp on and oppress the little guys or the people that can't defend themselves. I don't want to join that fucking team. I want to be the underdog that rises up and accomplishes. I want to get into the boardroom so I can fight them on their goddamn playing field and beat them with it. That's my goal, is to be the Dragon Slayer. That's why me and David get along so good. Space Jew last week said you're trying to be too much like David. You're trying to imitate David, and I'm like, no.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, David's a kindred spirit because he's the
Space
first.
Jew should go back and check some of the earlier Gratcast to see that you've been you, and a much more hardcore, like, stronger than David's message. You were very, very hardcore about all that stuff before you ever met David.
I've realized along the way that in order to get where I want to go, I got to tone it down until I get there, and then unleash hell on them.
This is toned down.
So the point I'm trying to make is the reason, like, I clicked with David right away because it was a kindred spirit. It was he's the first person I met that was as crazy as I am, that he would self-sacrifice because he wants to take on that battle. People like David, people like me. We've faced adversity our entire fucking lives. We've been shit on, kicked aside, and treated like we're lunatic assholes because we have principles that we get upset when they're violated. We treat people how we want to be treated, and when they don't treat it back to us, we get fucking angry about that, and we want to put a boot in their ass. So that's why I clicked with him. And he talked about this the other day too.
Who?
David.
Who is he? Okay.
He doesn't have a family, doesn't have kids, doesn't have those things. You have to have no anchors that they can hold over you to fight these battles. That other people can't fight those battles because they're easily
manipulated,
threatened, shut down. If the establishment says you back down or we're gonna kill your kids, what father in their right mind wouldn't? So you there's a lot of things you got to sacrifice to be in a position to be invincible. And I'm not talking about being a martyr here, but what I'm talking about is in order to take this path that I have, not only do you have to have the business knowledge, you have to have the actual intellectual creative talent to be an A-lister and then say, no, I don't want to be a fucking A-lister. I want to do it on my own terms and make my own stuff and do my own things. And how many people have A-list talent and A-list business knowledge and are gonna walk away from playing in the establishment's pool?
Not many.
Not freaking many. I was born for this. I was raised for this. My entire life. I've questioned authority. People laugh, and it's good. I put this on Instagram the other day for a reason. 2nd and 3rd grade, my teacher, right now, Kris speaks out of turn and feels he's entitled to say whatever is on his mind at any given point in time, whether we want to hear it or not.
He still does that.
It's who I am. To make my life have purpose, it's standing up for all the people that can't speak for themselves, that aren't strong enough to be able to do what I can do for them. And how as a society, how as people that want to make this world a better place, how as people that want to wake everybody up and have the silent majority take down the predatory establishment that's held their thumb over us for so long, how can we expect that to happen if we're not first willing to do that for somebody else, and so we can expect that to be done for us? How can we expect anyone else to stand up and fight for us if we're not willing to stand up and fight for them? It's just this is literally the cells that keep me together into a single substance. It is who I exist to be in fighting the establishment. All right, I'm sweating. I'm ranting. I haven't taken a sip of cider in a friggin' half hour.
He's very happy it's cider time, everyone. There are little things that he likes in life, like cider.
Oh, dude, cider season from Ralph's. These things are freaking great. Space Jew, you're 100%. That is the game. It's the game until somebody comes along and changes the rules, or at least imposes the actual rules and wipes out all of these insider rules and unspoken rules. So yeah, I'm here to change the game back to what it should have been in the first place.
All right. Okay. We're going to move on.
Discord section.
Yes. We have a Discord question. Our Discord, if anyone would like to join, we have a Discord channel.
There it is at the bottom.
Discord.me.
Come in and shake things up a little bit in our Discord channel. And
so,
real quick before you ask your first Discord question, if anybody here has any questions that they want to ask and have answered, Space Jew, Buffalo hasn't won a lot, but I promise you, our time is coming. It is absolutely coming. On the field, off the field, all of it. Buffalo's time is coming. Mark my words. I'm the physical embodiment of Buffalo's frustration with the rest of the world, man. I promise you that. If you want to see an origin story for a supervillain, watch The Four Falls of Buffalo. It's ESPN story, man. I promise you. No, you're not hurt my feelings, Space Jew. I actually think you're a great guy. I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings.
Devil's advocate. Usually I'm that one, so it's kind of easy for me not to have to do anything this time. Thank you.
So yeah, if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask through the course of our Discord questions here, you're more than welcome to.
Wait. Aaron says, I was warned by a different internet personality to absolutely avoid Discord at all costs.
It's full of furries, man. It's full of furries.
Ours is a little different. It's pretty much people talking about anything going on in their life and entertainment. Very supportive. No one on our chat is mean. It's not allowed. We all think the best of each other. And everybody has a positive outlook.
Yeah,
so
we all have a common enemy.
You're welcome to join ours, and we will not be crazy or mean. And anyone who is that way is politely asked to stop or no longer engage with us.
The Gratwick community is all about a common enemy, and that's the propaganda, lies, and bullshit that's been coming out of Hollywood forever. And there's no reason storytellers should have to compromise themselves just to tell good, fun, entertaining stories and bow to somebody else's agenda of what they're trying to push into that story.
All right. Aaron must have asked something. I'm sorry. I think I missed your question. Can you look back a
little
bit?
No. His question was somebody Space Jew. If you actually dislike this guy, his contents channel, then why exactly are you here talking to him? I don't even. Space Jew comes from the State of Mind crew, and it's just his personality and character. It's the way Space Jew expresses love.
Well, just remember that when you type words, tone and intention are never there. So if someone interprets what you're saying as you being unhappy with what you're watching, maybe it's because the words you're using sound like you're unhappy with what you're watching. There you go, Space Jew. You can have fun, but just remember other people don't necessarily interpret you the way you want to be interpreted.
He's fine. Like I said, deep down, listen. You're talking to a natural-born asshole here. Right here. Natural-born asshole. I know people who are a little crass and a little rough around the edges, but actually truly mean well and have a good heart deep down inside. And I think that's what we're looking at. So, Andrea, what's our first question from the?
We have a request first before we do that.
Okay, I have a request. Will you explain to some in your audience what it means when I give my word?
He never breaks it. He doesn't.
It's in the DNA of who people like David and I are.
Unless you do something to make him break it. If you turn out to not be the person he thought you were, then he can break it because you're not holding up to your end of the bargain. He doesn't break his word.
Here's the thing about principles. And David and I are both bound by our principles. And can you please stop Bear from sucking his own dick? It's driving me insane.
He's licking his paw, but Bear, you're not a kitty. Stop giving yourself a bath.
The thing about principles is that if you violate your own principles, it's not about what the other person's going to think of you. It's not about letting the other person down. It's not about, fuck that guy, I broke my word, but he's a dick, so who cares? It's about how you look at yourself in the mirror. It's about knowing that you're a fraud. Because you say you stand for something and you say this is who you are, but when push comes to shove, when those principles are challenged, you fold or bend them or make excuses for them. All of those different types of things. That's what's at the core of who David and I are. It's not about what you think about us. It's about how we look ourselves in the mirror every single day. And I know what my principles are. David knows what his principles are. So when we stand by those principles, it's not to make you happy. It's not to pretend and portray that we're this principle-driven person. It's because it's who we are, and if we fuck up on our principles, which does happen, not intentionally, but sometimes we just make a mistake, or like everybody else, we allow our emotions to get the best of us. Those are the nights I can't sleep. And the other person might not give a shit and never think twice about me in the entire world. But
He obsesses.
I feel like an asshole. I feel terrible about it, and I feel like I feel like a fraud on that given day because I didn't live up to who I think I am, who I identify myself by. And listen, we don't have a lot of stuff here, man. That's why we don't have extra people out here shilling it and paying all of these things all they are. The only thing I have is who I think I am, and Andrea. I love her to
and
death.
Bear.
And Bear's got good days and bad days.
I love Bear sometimes more than Kris.
Just don't feed him a bone. Got the one dog that throws up after every time he eats a bone. Yes. BRU, Space Jew. BRU. Bruh. Okay, let's get to these Discord questions.
Okay. Sam wants to know.
Hit me, Sam.
Gold Derby started putting up Oscar predictions.
Sam used to be my neighbor back in Buffalo.
There you go. Are there any movies you're looking forward to seeing this coming awards season?
The awards don't mean shit to me.
Are there any movies you're looking forward to seeing?
I do want to see Joker. I do want to see the Brad Pitt movie that just came out about space.
The poster looks good.
The Irishman.
That's so sad that's what's
the Irishman. I've been waiting for a long time. Technology's held that thing up forever. The 3.5-hour Martin Scorsese movie that'll be on Netflix by the end of November. Then there's El Camino movie, the basically the sequel to Breaking Bad that follows Jesse Pinkman. It starts right after Walter White dies. Yeah, I did say the Joker, David. I absolutely.
He hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I
so
absolutely want to see it. But
see it.
here's the thing: I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to see a movie like the Joker in a dark theater with a bunch of freaking crazy people in the dark. Who the hell knows who's going to show up and do some dumb shit?
If anyone doesn't know, in LA there was a threat called into a movie theater already with the Joker, and the movie was canceled.
I don't rock and roll the crowds, man. I don't.
There are some things like Us.
Crowds are sitting targets.
There are some movies that, no, I don't want to see a horror movie with other people. For one, I don't want to hear your reaction. For another, I don't trust people in the dark. Oh. Take me to a Disney movie. I'll go see Booksmart in a theater.
I don't trust Disney, let alone Disney in the dark.
I don't want... No, I don't...
Yeah.
Nope.
You got a mouse glove coming over there, creeping up your thigh in the middle of freaking Aladdin. Not on my watch, mouse.
I think on my behalf, I'm really behind on trailers. Like, I'm not sure what's coming out when.
Andrew,
I don't like to pay attention to it. I'm sorry. It's so bad for someone who grew up wanting to be an actor and going to school for it and very involved in all that to decide. I don't want it.
David just asked me on a date. David, if we're gonna go see Joker in the theater, then the way we're gonna do it is like 11 a.m. screening or something like that when there's like 10 people in there, and you better believe.
And you guys are having a seat apart because.
Well, there's always got there's always got to be the seat apart. But I'm sitting in the row closest to where I've got an angle on that door, so I can see every person that comes in that door. Ask Andrea. I don't play games. It could be at a friend's house, a family house, at a restaurant. Doesn't matter where we are.
He doesn't put his back to a door.
No.
He's like a freaking cowboy.
I'm hyper vigilant at all freaking times. I protect my flock.
Midnight. Well, if you wait long enough, you can have the midnight showing all to yourself also.
David, if you're going to a midnight screening, you go to the opening night screening for the atmosphere and all of that. In other words, there's no point in going to the midnight screening.
And that's where the shootings happen anyway. Don't do it.
All right. So do we have any more Discord questions?
No, everyone else is a little bit busy. We have people having a lot of fun things
going on. Babies, promotions.
Congratulations.
Halloween Horror Nights
on the baby,
work.
and Kelly just won an award. So yay for that. M's mom is doing so much better. The cancer is gone after the 3rd surgery. So, yeah, she just got those results. Yay, Emily. Very happy
in time for their big trip to Vegas to see the final show of Marie and...
Donnie and Marie. Her mom is a huge fan, so she saved up for their flights.
It's always a Buffalo thing,
for
Space
the
Jew.
Hotel, for the tickets.
David doesn't like this. But to me, this is rock on, David. This is how I say rock on. I know you think it's devil horns and all of that, but I've hijacked that. That's my rock on.
You've hijacked it?
Yep, jocked it too.
That's an interesting one. All right, brah.
All right, the last chance. Anyone have any questions before we move on to our bullet blitzes, which is our final segment of the episode?
One. Two.
Go Going
if
once?
you do, we'll
Going twice? Going
see you in a
twice?
second. All right.
Going twice?
Bullet Blitz.
Devil horns. Oh, Rusty Shackleford's in the house. Popped out of nowhere for the devil horns.
All right, you go first.
All right. That's our sound effect.
Because he doesn't like pressing the button anymore.
No, because we had a host that ghosted us and took my freaking sound effect with him, and I've been too lazy to remake the sound effect. I had to get my dad through prostate surgery last year. Stayed almost a month. It's Aaron, good sun work there, man. Good sun work, my friend. Staying by the old man.
That's really cool, though, that you guys caught it in time, because that's a serious one. Like, they usually catch it in stage 4, and there's not much that they can do. So, yay that they caught it early, and that he was able to fight it, and you were an awesome son going there and taking care of your dad, just like your dad took care of you when you were a kid.
All right.
Bonus points.
So, I'm not doing the sound effect again, and I'm just going to go right into it. All right.
Let's do it to it.
Tyler Perry built a 330-acre, 12-soundstage studio in Atlanta that just opened yesterday. Okay. This thing is bigger than Warner Brothers, Universal, and Paramount all combined.
Okay.
My question to you is the Tyler Perry Fed just about over here and a little late on this entire massive complex? And isn't that a bit of a big studio for a single brand of entertainment?
Okay, that's a huge studio.
It's like half of Georgia.
Anything. But think of how much space that is, how many buildings he had to make, how long that probably took to get done. Because it's not like those 12 studios, like actual studios for people to be able to go and shoot in, were built on that 330 acres beforehand. He just lucked along.
330
so,
acres.
Has it taken too long? Nope. Not in his mind, not in our mind when we know how long it takes to get anywhere in this industry. He had just enough hit movies to be able to afford that, to get the financing that allowed him to do that. And congratulations, but it's kind of creepy to have 330 acres. Like, that's scary amount of space. Like, someone can get lost and never be found again. I would never work there.
I don't drink coffee, but if I did, it would definitely have Bailey's in it. FYI. Urbane Soul.
Cool.
All right.
What's your take on it?
My take on it is he probably started building this thing when he was like ascending at almost at the peak of his Tyler Perry movies are absolutely atrocious, by the way. But he probably
last one nope.
He probably started building this thing while he was still ascending, and he's like, I'm gonna be king of the world forever. I'm building the largest studio in the freaking world.
Well, if all else fails, he has plenty of places to live.
See, here's the thing, and this is the foundation of the DNA of our studio that we're building here. It's going to be based primarily on a digital studio. Like we're working on a physical space and sound stages and all of that, but under one single roof in a complex that's an interactive entertainment complex.
Yeah.
This traditional 330 acres of a studio, are you out of your fucking mind? Do you know the overhead for that type of shit?
I'm gonna guess Georgia's making him a sweet deal.
But movies, even the movies that mainstream people see, and like you have a large segment of the audience, they don't make the same returns that they used to. You need smart, savvy, efficient budgets, and you need to use efficient emerging technologies on your distribution process to reduce the entire overhead. Like almost every department and component of our studio is only going to exist when it's in operation. When it's not in operation, there's no physical overhead. There's no labor force. Do you know why Warner Brothers only makes $100 million movies anymore? Because they've got 100 years of infrastructure that they've got to cover the bills for. You're not going to do that with $5 to $10 million movies making $30 to $40 million returns. It just can't happen. And then you get the A-listers and all these people that are used to making huge fat pockets and checks off of every single movie that they make. So they've got these ego checks that they need cashed, and the movies that they make just can't afford those prices anymore. It seems about 25 years too late at the very least to build a studio complex that freaking big. So I don't know.
25 years ago, he was still a kid.
What's the AC bill going to be on that in freaking Hotlanta? All right. Moving on.
Do you want an entertainment question or a general question?
These are yours. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm asking you. You have two choices. Which one would you like first?
I'm not supposed to have a choice on that.
Okay. According to the U.S. Department of Education, more than 57% of the class of 2018 who graduated with a bachelor's degree were female. The gap for master's degree was even wider, 59% to 41%. Is this a trend that'll lead to a shift in powers between sexes? And if so, does that worry you as a man?
I'm gonna give a little bit of a crude joke here on this one.
Is that your answer, a crude joke, or is that just your scary way of
kind
saying
of-
I
it's
don't want
kind
to
of-
address it because I don't like the idea?
It's kind of my answer. Women are always a little bit, for right or wrong, women are always about a step behind men. So I think women are just taking a little bit longer to realize that the college degree isn't what it's all cracked up to be. So women fought so hard to be treated as equals and to get into the school system and go to higher learning and all of these different types of things that they're still on the high of it wasn't that long ago that not that many women got to go to college and it wasn't really a thing. So they're still flooding the colleges while the dudes are kind of like, yeah, we're over this. It's not working out.
Can I give you a little follow-up on that?
Sure.
So it was a Wall Street Journal article,
Okay.
and following that, more women are getting higher paying jobs than men because they have the degrees. As of this point right now, as of 2018, for the soonest that they could get the information, men are not being offered the higher jobs because they are not having the better degrees. Women are now getting it. So does that change anything in your mind about a shift of power from men being the ones who
No.
make all the rules like they have for the past 2,000 years to slowly
women
are taking
listen.
over?
I absolutely think that it should be a joint force making the rules and deciding, and actually think women can make a little more rational choices than men that want to just hit everything with a hammer. But at the same time, I also think there's been such a movement on, everybody's not getting served properly and underrepresented and all of that, that now the pendulum's swinging too much the other way now, where nobody wants 40-year-old white dude. Like they want to look like they're forward thinking and they're diverse, and we're paying the women the high job. So there's the overcorrection now, and this is my biggest problem with all of the diversity statistics and all these different things and diversity programs that reward people. Because listen, it doesn't matter if you're white or Asian. If you're getting something based on your race, that is still playing the same game. You're just flipping who gets advantage from it.
And in this case, it's going on your education. Not your race, not your sex. It's your education. Men are slowing down.
But I'm talking about why they're. I'm talking about why they're. I'm talking about why they're getting hired. Is the point I'm trying to make? And I think that that so many businesses now have just completely. Like, we're not even, like, considering the white dude anymore because we want to look progressive and we want to look forward-thinking and all of that we're going females, minorities, all these different things. And that's good. These people deserve their opportunities and chances and all. I'm all for that. But you're still judging people by gender, by orientation, by freaking race. That's fucking ridiculous, man. You can't have minority programs that give somebody something based on their freaking gender or race and not be the same thing as excluding somebody based on their gender or race. I just nobody wants to be oppressed, but nobody wants to be equal either. They just want to flip the script and be the oppressor. And that's the thing that drives me absolutely nuts.
Do you think women would be the oppressor?
I think
the people who create all life, take care of it all their life, give up a good 18 to 22 years of all their own free will and choice and money and body. Would they really be the oppressor?
I think any demographic left unchecked and that continues to accumulate power is going to oppress other people. It's just human nature. It always ends up that way if it's not checked. And that's why every demographic, every group needs to work together to hold each other accountable. Not to go over and overcorrect one way or the other way, and that just creates resentment on the opposite side. That's why you're seeing so many angry white people now that feel like they're being marginalized, because we've overcorrected. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I understand why it breeds resentment. And the other people already were resentful, and they were rightfully so. But when you continue to do those type of things, it just creates division and animosity for the other people. Because now they're different and they're getting something for it. Regardless of which way the finger's pointing, it just creates resentment. And I think that's the pendulum swinging the other way that we've got to get through before we can get to the middle ground.
Okay.
Your
turn.
What do you? Well, you got to answer it. What do you think the reason for it is?
My question was: is this a trend that will lead to shift in powers between the sexes? And if so, does that worry you as a man? It wasn't about diversity. It wasn't about other races. It was literally about education.
I think the shift in power is going to happen either way.
Secondary education and how it is completely changed from men being the main ones to women now being the main ones.
I think that the power shift is happening either way without college degrees.
Do you think the Me Too movement started that?
No.
The acknowledgement of the shittiness of other people?
No. I think the Me Too movement was necessary, but I think ever since the 70s, little by little, it's been an incremental progress. Like
towards equality?
By the 90s, both parents were working and all that. So they're already coming up. For the prior generations, most women were in the household and had to raise babies and had to be in the kitchen and all that happy horse shit. So I don't think the Me Too movement sparked any of this. I think they were always coming, and it's just taking more time to get there. And if we get to a point where women have a little more power than men for a period of time before it settles back down to even ground,
we might have peace in the world. There might be less war.
I don't think that's the worst thing in the world.
Maybe everyone has food and houses.
Let's
clothes,
hold up for a second there. Women are just as capable of men of being evil, psychopathic warmongers. We need to look no farther.
There are some women who are.
We need to look no farther than the Clintons to realize both the husband and the wife can be absolute raving lunatics and corrupt and all the other happy horseshit things that come in. So I have no gender bias on women can't be war hawks, but I think it's less likely.
There you go. All right, your turn.
Okay. Speaking of The Irishman and Martin Scorsese took a shot at the Marvel Cinematic Universe the other day, saying that he doesn't watch superhero movies. They're nothing but the movie version of a theme park. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that? And do you think the snobbery by the old guard of filmmakers towards comic book movies is justified?
I am so tired of comic book movies.
Yes, there's definitely an oversaturation happening.
I'm done with them. I agree because they've overdone it. It's not to be appreciated anymore. It is like they're pushing it on you. Like candy you don't want. Okay. I don't need the stupidity in my brain anymore. Ooh, the bright colors, flashes, loud noises.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that
I'm done with them all. And the fact that their storylines have all gone to shit. Like, I'm sorry. We all know that last one. There are a million plot holes that they're trying to, no. If you can go back in time, you can go back in time and fix everything. Stop lying, making it pointless for the entire series.
Yeah, but see, the point they're trying to make is that Martin Scorsese's never...
Thank you, Rusty. Totally agree.
Martin Scorsese, I fully agree that there's a superhero saturation coming. In fact, I'm counting on it.
It's like hearing the
with
same
some of our
song
intellectual
over and
property.
over and over on the radio for 2 weeks. I don't want to fucking hear it again.
But hold up. You can't honestly say that Marvel hasn't done some powerful storytelling over the course of the cinematic universe and have contributed to the art of filmmaking as much as anybody. There's been some excellent stories told, yes, within a superhero construct, but the human stories, the human elements, the human components of it that makes filmmaking great on its own have definitely been present in many, many, many Marvel movies.
I consider them trash movies. I'll watch them when I don't want to have to think.
See, even Rusty acknowledges that the Batman trilogy...
That's not Marvel. That's not the Marvel
it's still a comic book movie. And basically this is what...
It's different because they didn't do it that way. When Batman started, The first Batman with Keaton totally wasn't like that at all. At all. Like, what they are doing now makes his stuff look smart.
The point that's being made, though, is Martin Scorsese's basically old man, get off my lawn type of guy that's never seen any of these movies, yet he's condemning them because it's not his genre of choice. But somehow, so because it's not his genre of choice, they're not quality films. That's absolutely ridiculous. You may not like superhero movies, but the stories that have been told in them are not just paper thin, no pun intended, paper thin stories with no deeper connection and deeper themes with running through them.
Maybe part of it is that they are taking from someone else's creations. Comic books are someone else's creation. They were created already. There was a backstory to it. There is an audience that was built in by someone else's work over many years.
That's not relevant.
That makes sense. That you're gonna take it, you're gonna bastardize it, you're gonna fucking make it flashy.
That's not relevant to this.
That doesn't
make
it real. That doesn't make it quality.
Almost every filmmaker out there
steals from someone's book.
No, God, you're killing me tonight. You are literally killing me tonight. Almost every filmmaker out there, it's a small percentage of filmmakers that write their own content. So every single one of them is taking somebody else's idea and story and bringing it to life. So that 100% does not apply. Martin Scorsese took the freaking book to make Godfather.
Mario Puzo worked with him on the script.
Yes.
There's a big difference between the creator joining on, giving permission, and being part of the script writing, and taking something and saying, I'm going to buy the rights, and then I'm going to take liberties and say, based on. Not even keeping to it.
Most filmmakers are working from somebody else's intellectual property.
And we have how many screenwriters out there with great original ideas that aren't even getting recognition because people are lazy and want that built-in audience that they want to suck the teat off of. Yeah, I'm using it.
Completely not relevant to the question, but I went kind of rogue on your question, so I guess fair's fair.
Okay, so what was your actual question?
Do you think Scorsese's in the wrong here for condemning content he's never even watched? And calling them not films because his movies are uppity films and theirs has no creative value whatsoever. They're a theme park.
No, I think the trailers show enough that you don't need to see the damn thing.
Well,
what do you think, Kris?
You just bringing this all the way back around. Judging something based off a trailer is the same thing as going to somebody's channel. Oh, there's only 200 subscribers. This must suck. You're completely going off of a vanity premise to make your decision.
Except the exact opposite. This has how many millions of people who think it's awesome? This really sucks.
We're talking about judging something on trailers. We're not talking about comics. You specifically just talked about trailers, and I'm giving you the analogy.
You said he hadn't seen anything. He hadn't seen the movies yet. But he
cannot
avoid
we are on
trailers.
your final bullet blitz here.
All right, so there are tons of singing and dancing and cooking shows on TV, all those competitions.
Speaking of empty content.
Can you think of another talent or skill that they could start making a competition show about? That's not out there already. Like a talent or skill. Not a trivia.
This might have been one that I needed advance notice on, so I could have come up with something instead of
crap. No, that's why it's a bullet blitz, shooting it right at you, baby.
So a lot of bases been covered, right down to who can buy the best storage locker.
No, it's a talent or skill. That's not a talent or skill. That's your bank account.
No, that's a talent or skill. You got to pick the right lockers.
Can you dance?
You got to be able to flip them.
Can you cook? Show me right now here on a stage.
Sports pretty much covers all athletics, so those are covered. I mean, this is gonna sound a little cheesy, but I think like some sort of humanitarian competition. Who actually is having the most impact on a day-to-day basis?
How is that a talent or skill?
That's absolutely a talent or skill.
No, that's an action that you do over it.
That you got to be good at for it to have any kind of impact and matter.
How would that be a competition show?
Yeah, Rusty. Who can buy the best Trapper Keeper? I'm with you on that one. I had a sweet Transformers Trapper Keeper with Optimus Prime on the cover of it. It's fucking awesome. If David doesn't get at least 5 Trapper Keepers in the mail for his birthday on October 23rd, I'm going to be very, very, very disappointed in the Mandarmy.
Okay.
But no, I think that's, I mean, we're scraping the barrel here right from the get-go. So no matter what the answer was going to be, it was going to be pretty thin. And my thing would be some sort of humanitarian efforts, whether it's creating a set of circumstances and terms and a limited number of resources and putting people out there on an episode basis and seeing what kind of impact they have and judging them based on that. But that's 100% a talent and a skill.
Okay.
Bro, there are streets here, like main streets, where not a single sign is in English. Oh, that sounds tough. Canine,
So, I was thinking.
Canine, I'm Canine actually. Space Jew, you might not know this already, but I've already made a film. I've actually made two, but I don't count the first one. So, yeah, I've already made a film. It was good. It was better than it was supposed to be. Lionsgate wanted it, but Lionsgate asked me to sell out all my family and friends, give them the movie for free, and tell me I was going to go on to make a bunch of movies in my career. And I told them to go fly a fucking kite. There's no way I'm doing that. That's when I realized there's no point in me making more movies until I control the marketing, finance, and distribution, which is why I set out to build this audience-owned studio system. I put my filmmaking career on hold so I could build something that we all need. I had plenty of opportunities to go on and make other horror films and all of that. I turned them down because this needed to be addressed before I made any other films. Because I can't, again, going back to principles, I can't look somebody in the face and ask them to invest in my content if somebody else controls the marketing, distribution, and financing of that project. When they control the distribution, every single step between me and the customer, they steal from you. They skim, they say you're not turning profits, and they steal all the way down. So you have no control over your ability to pay people back if they invest in your films. So no, there was no way I was going to ask anyone else to invest in another film I made until I could vouch for the pipeline that film was going to be distributed for, to have control and assurance that there was a responsible way that those people could get paid back. So yeah, that's the only reason I'm not making films right now, Space Jew, is because of the fact that I put that on hold to deal with the greater good that needed to be handled. There we go.
Okay. So I came up with a couple different ones.
Couple different what?
Couple different skills or talents.
See, you had a bunch of time to write these down, man.
No, I came up with questions, so you would assume I would have an answer.
Yeah.
So everyone knows Bob Ross, the Afro painter. I think one of the competitions could be a painting competition. Like, I don't care if you all have to copy the exact same one.
There's got to be painting competitions out there.
Really? Tell me a show.
Is.
Give me a name of a show where it's a painting competition.
Not necessarily a show.
Okie dokie. So we're talking about new shows.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, another one?
Space Jew, look up The Perfect House on YouTube, wherever you like. It's out there, brah.
Another one that would be kind of fun for people who are kind of nerdy like me. I want Spelling Bee.
That's already shit.
No, I don't want the school one. I want literally people going and having to do spell offs, like for a half an hour. No idea what you're gonna put up there, and then you can win money.
Space Jew,
just enforcing education, being smart.
Space Jew, that's because men are weak and they do it all for the cookie, or the nookie. It's been a while since I've listened to Limp Bizkit, but yeah, that's why if women really want to, they can hold all the power, because men
could just stop making babies.
No, because men absolutely need and want women. So we
could just stop making babies, and how that happens. Yeah. Everyone's read Lysistrata, and if you haven't, it's about time to go back to that one. And the look on your face says you don't even know.
All right, I think actually Ad Estrada is the name of the Brad Pitt.
Lysistrata.
Oh well, see, I got Ad Estrada on the brain. That's the Brad Pitt movie.
Yeah, it's not a space movie. They didn't make that in Greece.
All right, what other shows you got here?
That was my last one. Right. I gave you two of them. You gave me...
We were going to keep this down to a tight hour tonight. This was supposed to be a tight hour. Started with the slow start, the double start. Now here we are.
Yeah, 12 minutes of bullet blitzes.
I got to go back.
All right, everybody. Well,
I got to go back and delete
about the time. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
I wrap up the shows around here, Schwab.
That's what he thinks. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Follow us on Discord. Join our chat. Check us out on Twitter, on Instagram. We're on Facebook, too. Kris wants to say something because he likes to end the show. Go ahead, dear.
We're taking on Hollywood and telling the tales. It's behind my chair.
That didn't work out.
Subscribe, follow, help us get the word out organically. And
but if you want to buy us followers, don't let us know.
Come on, don't do that. See, listen, I'm gonna put this on here. Listen, so I'm gonna wrap this up with sports real quick because it's an important knowledge. So over the off season, over the summer, the NFL had this greatest fan base competition. And fans had to go on and vote for the greatest fan contest and all that. And it came down to the Bills against the Titans fan bases. And the Titans went and paid for a bunch of clicks and advertising to get people to pay and won. And the Bills fans found out about it and all that. So you know what? You know how Bills fans handled that? No, we're not going to match you paying for clicks. No, that's not what we do. We invaded their fucking stadium. When we finally got to play them yesterday, Monday, Sunday, yeah, their stadium holds 75,000 people. 45,000 of them were Bills fans. No lie. No joke. That's the best fan base in the world. You want to buy your fans? You want to buy your clicks? We're going to come down there in person and take your goddamn seats. That's how we do it. We don't buy engagement.
And that is where he'd like to end it.
Yes.
So everyone knows that's the message of today.
Play the song.
The more you know.
I think Space Jew's going to love our closing song.
All right, everybody. Have a good week. Talk to us on Discord. Follow us on Twitter. Let us know what's going on in your world. Kris takes care of the Instagram. I don't even, whatever. Pictures. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
I'm already dancing.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.